Hello and good morning, dear learners, to the lecture 10 of the first module titled Bonjour. This lecture is titled Dialogues and Conversation. As we complete 10 detailed lectures of the module 1, here is the time to re-immerse ourselves in various new things we learned during this part of the course Parler de soi. The last in this module, our lecture will bring to you audio and video representations of the many things you have done so far. However, there'll be as well some new words and expressions useful for you. Listen well and watch the videos attentively. In this lecture, we shall try to present to you relevant audio, video clips, images, and multimedia. And listening to these and viewing actual situations would help you to understand and grasp well the new expressions, words, and information you learned during the last few lectures. It will help you to observe the context of French language usages and finally assist you in self-learning as well as self-assessment. So there we go. Allons-y. The first sound clip we have for you goes back to your initial lecture on l'alphabet français. The alphabets that we had done earlier, it's time now to re-listen to that. These audio clips have voices of native French speakers who are going to repeat the 26 alphabets. I request you to listen carefully and then try to speak alike. That's the way you would perfect the pronunciation, which is so crucial in language learning. So here you go. Listen to the audio clip.
L'alphabet. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z.
The next clip is regarding introducing yourself. So there are some dialogues which you would listen. So in advance, we have given you in writing on the PPT slides, which shall be a good reference material for you before you actually go on to listen to the voice clips. Je m'appelle, il s'appelle, elle s'appelle, that is, my name is XYZ, his name is so-and-so, her name is so-and-so. Je viens de, il vient de, elle vient de. We have done these structures earlier in a lecture where I was explaining to you how to give information about yourself. We follow a similar pattern when we talk about another person, il vient de or elle vient de, that is, he comes from such and such place, she comes from such and such place, I come from such and such place. Je suis étudiant, étudiante. Étudiant, I told you, a student. So all these dialogues you shall hear in the subsequent audio clip. Try not to look at the slides while you are listening. You should develop listening competence so that right there, when you're listening to the audio file, you're able to grasp most of the French language being spoken. So there you go. Listen.
Chapitre préliminaire. Je me présente. Je m'appelle. Je suis de. Je suis étudiant en. Je suis étudiant en français. Je suis étudiant en maths.
Je suis étudiante en. Je suis étudiante en français. Je suis étudiante en maths.
Il s'appelle. Elle s'appelle. Il est de. Elle est de. Il est étudiant en. Il est étudiant en français. Il est étudiant en maths.
Elle est étudiante en. Elle est étudiante en français. Elle est étudiante en maths.
Well, I'm sure you got to listen to some sentences, some expressions being spoken, and you had a fair idea of how the words are spoken, how expressions are presented by native speakers. So apart from my voice, you also got to hear the voice of other speakers, and that should help you in understanding the tonality, the register of this new language that you're learning right now. The next clip is a video clip, and you see a girl sitting in a classroom, and she's talking about things around her, objects in the classroom. She also talks about some important expressions that are important for a non-French speaker, a learner, in the situation of, being in a francophone space. So there are expressions which as a learner you might find very useful, and the girl who's speaking here is herself not a French. She's from the United States, but studying in France and learning French. So she's a learner of French language just the way you are. So listen to the video carefully, and for reference sake, we have given you the words that are being used in this video clip. So look at the reference material provided, listen well, and then try repeating it on your own.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Pyle, je suis de Houston, je suis étudiante en biologie.
Je m'appelle Leonard, je suis de San Antonio, je suis étudiante en biologie.
Très bien.
Je m'appelle Braxton, je suis de... Excusez-moi.
Pardon,
Monsieur.
pardon.
Je m'appelle Braxton, je suis de La Paz, Texas. Je suis étudiant en film.
Je m'appelle Hélène, je suis de Sugarland et je suis étudiante en finance.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Karen, je suis du Mexico et je suis étudiante en mathématiques et en français.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Leila, je suis de Dallas, Texas et je suis étudiante en français et publicité.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Tonio, je suis du Venezuela
et je suis étudiant en sociologie.
En sociologie. En.
The important sentences that I said, je ne comprends pas, je ne sais pas, ne répétez, s'il vous plaît, à tout à l'heure. I shall not explain to you too much because I want you to understand yourself with the reference material already provided here.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Leila, je suis de Dallas. My name is Leila and I'm from Dallas. I'm a student at UT and right now I'm studying in Lyon, France at the Université Jean Moulin for the summer. In Chapter 1, you're going to learn useful terms for the classroom, la salle de classe, how to introduce yourself to other students in the classroom, other people in the classroom. You'll also learn certain words that will be useful for example, the book, le livre, or the pen, le stylo, a folder, le cahier, and backpack, le sac à dos. Finally, you're going to learn some very useful terms for being in the classroom, such as je ne comprends pas, I don't understand, or répétez s'il vous plaît, can you please repeat that again? So good luck and à tout à l'heure!
So you heard Laila speaking about the classroom and the numerous objects around her. She describes her classroom, and maybe one day even you people find yourselves in a similar situation. So you've got to master some of those expressions like je ne sais pas, je ne comprends pas. In fact, the sentence je ne comprends pas is one of the most favorite expressions by learners of French. So when they don't know what to say, they often say je ne comprends pas. I don't understand. So you have to gradually master these expressions. These are ways that you enter the French space. Next audio clip has some vocabulary and some useful expressions that you would use in everyday life. You have done some of them might be new to you. Listen carefully and try repeating.
Chapitre 1. Vocabulaire. Bonjour. Salutations. Monsieur. Madame. Mademoiselle. Bonjour monsieur. Bonsoir. Au revoir. Salut. À tout à l'heure. À ce soir. À demain. À bientôt. Comment vous appelez-vous? Comment tu t'appelles? Comment t'appelles-tu? Je m'appelle. Comment allez-vous? Comment vas-tu? Je vais très bien, merci. Je vais bien, merci. Pas mal, merci. Bien, merci. Comment ça va? Ça va? Ça va bien? Ça va bien. Et vous? Vous êtes d'où? Et toi? Tu es d'où?
There are also names of professions. We did some earlier, doctor and advocate and journalist, if I remember correct. Here you have a collection of some more professions. Try listening to them. You have been provided equivalents in English along with it in the transcript. So look at them, but Most importantly, try to listen intelligently. Train your ears to capture the French sounds. That's how you'll come closer to the language. I will once read this. Monsieur, je vous présente. Kindly go through the English equivalents yourselves. Je te présente. Voici. Yes. C'est. Ce sont. Comment s'appelle-t-il? Comment s'appelle-t-elle? Il s'appelle. Elle s'appelle. Some more similar expressions. C'est les deux. Comment s'appelle-t-il? Il s'appelle. Elle s'appelle. Qu'est-ce qu'il fait? Qu'est-ce qu'elle fait? Qu'est-ce qu'ils font? Qu'est-ce qu'elles font? Il est. Elle est. Even if there be some parts of the sentence that you don't follow, do not panic. These are your first instances into listening to another voice apart from mine speaking French, but train your ears to recognize the words. The list of professions, as I had said, you've done some before. Here is a new set with some more professions. Actor, actrice. Here you've been given the masculine as well as the feminine form. So it's acteur, actrice. Acteur, Amitabh Bachchan, il est acteur. Et Deepika Padukone, elle est actrice. So you see the masculine, feminine forms. Architecte, chanteur, chanteuse. Coiffeur, coiffeuse. Dentiste, ingénieur, journaliste, médecin. So you do see there are professions where you don't have a feminine equivalent. In that case, you use just the one word that is used for both genders. Professeur, retraité, stagiaire, étudiant, and étudiante. This word is important for all of you, since at the moment, all of you are learners, you are étudiants, you're students. Try to master that little word, étudiant and étudiante. Here is the voice clip. Go ahead and listen well.
Présentation. Monsieur, je vous présente. Je te présente. Voici. Qui est-ce? C'est. Ce sont. Comment s'appelle-t-il? Comment s'appelle-t-elle? Il s'appelle. Elle s'appelle. Il est de. Elle est de. Comment s'appelle-t-il? Comment s'appelle-t-elle? Il s'appelle. Elle s'appelle. Qu'est-ce qu'il fait? Qu'est-ce qu'elle fait? Qu'est-ce qu'ils font? Qu'est-ce qu'elles font? Il est. Elle est. Acteur. Actrice. Architecte. Chanteur. Chanteuse. Coiffeur. Coiffeuse. Dentiste. Ingénieur. Journaliste. Médecin. Professeur. Retraité. Retraité. Stagiaire.
As I had said, you're listening to a lot of audio clips, you're watching videos, and are just about beginning to see how the French language is used for actual communication in real situations. How do people talk? How do they move? What is the expression on their faces? How do they move their mouths, their tongue? These are all parts of language learning. I told you right in your introduction that language learning is not about mugging up new words. It's not about grammar rules. It is a whole new way of looking at the world. And these are all ways why we are making you look at the videos, we are making you listen to audio clips, and we are also providing you some assisted presence of the teacher where I'm just facilitating your learning. You're very much on your own, you're managing your own learning, and we are just assisting you in the process. I'm sure, absolutely sure, you're all doing a fine job. In the next video clip, you're going to see a native French teacher talk about the classroom. You remember Laila was talking about the classroom. She was not a native French. She was an American who was learning French while being in France. This time, the clip that you see, it is a French teacher, an actual French national, a native speaker. She will be talking about objects in the salle de classe, in the classroom. You have several new words coming up. We have given you some references on the slides. Listen to that, look at these, and try to perfect the pronunciation to the best of your capacity. Here you go with the video clip.
Bonjour. Nous sommes dans une salle de classe. Dans la salle de classe, il y a une porte, il y a aussi une télévision, un tableau noir et une craie. Il y a aussi un bureau. Sur le bureau, il y a un cahier et un dictionnaire. Voici un crayon et voici un stylo. Il y a aussi un livre. Voici une chaise. Et bien sûr, il y a un sac à dos. Dans la salle de classe, il y a aussi une fenêtre, une affiche et une carte du monde.
So, you saw two very similar video clips. In one, there was this girl who was a non-francophone learning French, and then you saw a French professor talk about la salle de classe. If you have trained your ears well, you will see slight difference in the way people speak French. Just like English can be spoken in various ways by different nationalities, so can French be. Ideally, you should try to come closer to the way the teacher was speaking. That is our aim, to make you speak the standard French. So try listening to that, but at the same time, be aware that there are various ways in which people speak. They're all speaking French. So be aware of that. The next audio clip is about names of continents and countries and nationalities, something that I had handled even before. If you remember, we did Afrique, Asie, Australie, and Canada, and Japan, all these countries and continents, and then associated nationalities. For example, je suis indien, je suis indienne, je suis français, elle est française, because I told you we have to get the agreement with the masculine and feminine. So there is an indien if it's a man talking, and there's an indienne if it's a lady talking. Similarly, for all nationalities, there are different ways that you create the masculine and the feminine. For example, there's this country, Senegal, in West Africa, a very, very important part of Francophone Africa. So if someone is from Senegal, he would say, Je suis Sénégalais. And a lady would similarly say, Je suis Sénégalaise. So these are different ways in which you make the names of nationalities, and you should be aware how you create that. Go through the list carefully. You have several countries, and you have continents, and you have nationalities, and I want you to look at them carefully, look at the spellings carefully, how they are made into masculine and feminine, and then finally, of course, you go on to listening the pronunciation. Because when you say je suis indien or je suis indienne, you're finally speaking it. But also at the same time, you must be aware of the spellings, you must be aware of how you create the new words. So that is why you've been given the written reference as well as the audio clip. So be careful, you follow all the resources being given to you.
Continent. Pays, nationalité. Un continent. Un pays. L'Afrique. Africain. Africaine. L'Algérie. Algérien. Algérienne. Le Maroc. Marocain. Marocaine. Le Sénégal. Sénégalais. Sénégalaise. La Tunisie. Tunisien. Tunisienne. L'Amérique du Nord. Le Canada. Canadien. Canadienne. Les États-Unis. Américain. Américaine. Le Mexique. Mexicain. Mexicaine. L'Amérique du Sud. La Guyane française. Guyanais. Guyanaise. L'Asie. Asiatique. La Chine. Chinois. Chinoise. Le Japon. Japonais. Japonaise. Le Vietnam. Vietnamien. Vietnamienne. L'Océanie. L'Australie. Australien. Australienne. L'Europe. Européen. Européenne. L'Allemagne. Allemand. Allemande. L'Angleterre. Anglais. Anglaise. La Belgique. Belge. L'Espagne. Espagnol. Espagnol. La France. Français. Française. L'Italie. Italien. italienne. La Suisse. Suisse.
This audio clip will give you an idea of how to pronounce names of countries, continents, and nationalities. The last video clip is slightly longer than the rest, but it is very interesting and full of information for you. You've already done a simple audio clip where they mention names of professions, acteur, actrice, you had professeur, and you had étudiant, étudiante, all kinds of professions. Now here in this video clip, you are going to come across various people in real situations who are being asked, what do you do? Quelle est votre profession? Que faites-vous? Quelle est votre occupation? And to that, they reply, each one differently. Je suis coiffeur, je suis coiffeuse, je suis professeur, je suis médecin. So you actually see natives speak French and how one responds to the question, quelle est votre profession? Que faites-vous? Now, although we have attempted at providing you a backup transcript and some words that you may encounter when you're listening to the video, I would suggest you listen very carefully and try understanding what is being said instead of reading. That way your ears get trained to listen and in due course actually communicate face to face with a French speaker. There might be occasions where you have to guess. You look at the surroundings and you look at some other things and you guess, oh, well, this could be this profession. So, well, you don't know the word, but by looking at things around, you guess. And as I always say, learning a foreign language, guessing is one of the most important tools that you could use. So try guessing, intelligent guess. And then well, you have the video before you, try following it. And I'm sure you'll learn many more ways of saying, what do you do? The most interesting exercise at the end of it would be try relating your own profession after that. Imagine you were in that situation and someone asked you, que faites-vous? Quelle est votre profession? So what would you reply? Are you an engineer? Are you a student? Are you a teacher? Are you a doctor? So getting exposed to these many professions and how you talk about it should give you an idea of actual communication happening in real situations. So happy listening. And this is a very detailed video. I want you to look at it carefully and listen well.
Métiers et occupations.
Christian, viens là s'il te plaît.
Qu'est-ce que vous faites dans la vie? Quel est votre métier?
Vendeuse en poissonnerie.
Merci.
Oui, bonjour, donc mon nom c'est Lucien Delifer, donc je m'occupe d'un département où on vend du matériel informatique,
Oui.
notamment du matériel informatique d'occasion,
Oui.
donc second hand.
Oui, c'est ça.
D'accord.
Qu'est-ce que vous faites dans la vie?
Je suis pharmacienne.
Merci.
Bonjour.
Qu'est-ce que vous faites dans la vie?
On est coiffeuse.
Coiffeuse. Merci.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Yann, je suis vendeur de meubles, j'achète de la marchandise pour pouvoir la revendre aux particuliers.
Voilà.
Je m'appelle Thomas.
Thomas. Et votre profession, Thomas?
Je suis étudiant en sport.
En sport?
Oui. Pour faire prof de sport plus tard.
Ah, très bien.
Bonjour, alors je m'appelle Stéphane, je suis opticien, j'habite à Paris, et puis voilà, ici vous êtes dans la boutique où vous pouvez voir que vous avez beaucoup de lunettes, de vue ou bien de soleil.
Bonjour, je suis chômeur, je cherche un emploi dans l'industrie papetière et c'est très dur dans la région parisienne.
Alors, quelle est votre profession? Qu'est-ce que vous faites dans la vie?
Je suis infirmière.
Très bien.
Qu'est-ce que vous faites dans la vie, madame?
Je suis à la fois professeur et artiste peintre.
Merci.
Bonjour, je suis Jérémy, je travaille à l'hôtel des Aiglons à Chamonix. Et je suis réceptionniste, voilà.
Très bien. Et stagiaire aussi, hein?
Stagiaire, réceptionniste.
Alors, bonjour, je m'appelle Sandrine, je suis boulangère. Je vais vous présenter quelques pains, des baguettes, des flûtes, des pains viennois et notre spécialité des pains manette moisson, c'est un pain aux céréales.
Sandrine, qu'est-ce que tu fais dans la vie?
Je suis professeure de français, stagiaire encore et bientôt professeure de français définitive en septembre.
Très bien. Au collège, c'est ça?
Au collège, oui.
Et c'est quel âge, collège?
Alors, ils ont entre 12 et 15 ans.
Alors, qu'est-ce que vous faites maintenant dans la vie? Vous êtes, quel est votre métier?
Alors, je suis étudiant en seconde année dans une école d'ingénieur à Lyon, l'INSA de Lyon.
Très bien.
Voilà.
Laurent, je suis régisseur.
Vous êtes
Régisseur.
régisseur, c'est-à-dire?
Je suis technicien, comme Philippe, mais dans plusieurs salles différentes.
Ah, d'accord. Merci beaucoup.
So, dear students, with this video, we have come to the end of lecture 10. This was a slightly different experience for you, being exposed to these many audio and video clips, which brought you closer in a way to the French La vie en France. It's not merely about grammar or what you see on your PPT slides. It was about actual situations, students like you learning French. So I'm sure after this, you already find yourselves in a new space, ready to learn more and to try communicating in ways that you saw just now. Well, I shall leave it at that, but not before ending our surprise section. Section 4, saviez-vous? Tell me, most of you are aware that the Indian Constitution has a preamble to it, right? In the preamble, there are three very important words: liberty, equality, and fraternity. These three ideals have been borrowed from the French Republic, which has the official logo of the French Republic, has these three ideas mentioned: liberté, égalité, and fraternité. Liberty, equality, and fraternity. So when our constitution was being drafted, the French constitution was already there, and these ideas had emerged out of the French Revolution, which was a period of enlightenment in France. Well, that's a long story. We'll get into it some other time. But these three core ideas, which give a robust base to our system, our republic, liberté, égalité, fraternité, are actually a gift from the French Constitution, from the French ideals of the same. So there we have another Franco-Indian space of intercommunication and sharing. So from now on, if you ever see the Constitution, the preamble, you know exactly from where these three ideas have been borrowed. Well, with that, we complete our first module today, 10 lectures, and they would have sufficiently initiated you into this course, Parler de soi, greetings, ways of greetings, and so many more things. Still, we meet again for the next lecture. Au revoir. Merci beaucoup de votre attention. The next module. We shall be back with it soon. Till then, bonne chance. Au revoir.